Let me tell you something that the fitness industry has been getting wrong for decades. Walk into any gym on a Monday morning, and you will find the same scene, row after row of treadmills, people jogging at a comfortable pace, staring at a screen, doing the same thing they did last Monday, and the Monday before that. Months go by. The scale barely moves, and somewhere along the way they start to believe the problem is them. Their metabolism, their age, their genetics. It is not them, it is the approach. Belly fat is not some mysterious, stubborn enemy that only responds to extreme measures. It responds to the right stimulus, and the right stimulus is almost never an hour of moderate cardio. Your body is an adaptation machine. The moment it figures out what you are asking of it, it gets efficient. Efficient means it burns less. That comfortable treadmill pace that felt hard 3 months ago now costs your body almost nothing to maintain. You have trained yourself into a plateau. What actually works is intensity. Movements that your body cannot predict. Exercises that demand so much from your muscles and your cardiovascular system simultaneously that your metabolism has no choice but to stay elevated long after you have finished, not for an hour, for the rest of the day, in some cases into the next day entirely. That is what we are covering today. 5 exercises that attack belly fat from multiple angles at once. They build muscle while burning fat. They spike your heart rate while developing real strength. And they trigger something called excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, which means the calorie burn does not stop when you do. Your body keeps working while you recover, while you eat, while you sleep. This is not about doing more. This is about doing the right things with the right effort. Let us get into it. Number 1. Kettlebell swings. If there is one exercise that is consistently underestimated for fat loss, it is this one. Research has shown that kettlebell swings can burn up to 20 calories per minute when performed correctly and at an appropriate intensity. 20 calories per minute means 400 calories in 20 minutes, without moving from one spot, without a treadmill, a track, or a pair of running shoes. But the reason most people do not get those results is that most people do the swing completely wrong. They turn it into a squat. They use their arms to lift the weight. They round their lower back and then wonder why their lumbar spine is filing a complaint 2 days later. The kettlebell swing is a hip hinge. That distinction is everything. Here is exactly how it works. Place the kettlebell slightly in front of you on the floor, not right between your feet. Stand with your feet a little wider than hip width. Before you touch the weight, feel the position you are about to move into. Push your hips back like you are trying to touch the wall behind you with them. Keep your chest tall. Keep your spine in a neutral position, not rounded, not hyperextended. Now reach down and grip the kettlebell. Pull your shoulders back and down. Engage the muscles of your upper back. Feel your lats activate. Hike the bell back between your legs like a football snap. Your forearms should make contact with the inside of your thighs. Now drive your hips forward explosively. Not your arms, your hips. The arms are just a connection point. The power comes entirely from that hip extension. Let the bell float up to about chest height as a result of that force, not because you lifted it there. Let it fall back down, guide it between your legs again, and repeat. If you feel your lower back doing the work, stop. Reset. The lower back should be a bystander in this movement, not a participant. Get the hip hinge right and everything else follows. Start with sets of 15 to 20 reps. Rest 30 to 45 seconds between sets. Build the volume gradually. The metabolic effect compounds as your conditioning improves. Number 2. Jump rope. This one surprises people. It looks simple. It looks like something from a school playground. And yet 10 minutes of jump rope burns roughly the same number of calories as 30 minutes of jogging. Beyond the immediate calorie cost, regular jump rope training increases mitochondrial density in your muscle cells. More mitochondria means your body becomes more efficient at using fat as fuel, not just during exercise, but at rest. You are literally remodeling your metabolism. The reason most adults fail at jump rope is a technique problem, not a fitness problem. They jump too high. They try to clear the rope by 6 inches when they only need to clear it by 1. Big jumps mean wasted energy and a heart rate that spikes before you have found any rhythm. That is why people gas out in 30 seconds and give up. Here is what the technique actually looks like. Small, quick bounces. You are barely leaving the ground. The rope turns from the wrists, not the shoulders. Your elbows stay tucked close to your sides. Your chest stays up. Your eyes look forward. You are not looking down at the rope. You are feeling the rhythm and trusting it. Start with intervals. 30 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. That ratio is enough to get your heart rate into the zone where fat burning accelerates without destroying your coordination before you have built any. As your timing improves, extend the work intervals. Add double unders when you are ready. The learning curve is real, but it is short, and once it clicks, jump rope becomes one of the most effective tools you have. Number 3. Deadlifts. People avoid deadlifts for two reasons. They look heavy and they look technical. Both of those things are true. But here is what else is true. The deadlift recruits more total muscle mass than almost any other movement in existence. Your hamstrings, glutes, lower back, upper back, traps, forearms, and core all work simultaneously to complete one rep. That level of muscular recruitment creates an afterburn effect that research suggests can last up to 48 hours. Your body is repairing and rebuilding all of that tissue long after the session ends, and that process costs calories, significant ones. The setup matters more than the weight. Get the pattern right first and the strength will come. Feet hip-width apart. The bar sits over the middle of your foot, not against your shins. Push your hips back and bend your knees only enough to reach the bar. Not a squat. A hinge with a knee bend. Grip the bar just outside your legs. Now before you pull, create tension through your whole body. Brace your core like you are about to take a punch. Pull your shoulders back and down. Flatten your spine. Take a breath and hold it. Now push the ground away from you. That is the cue. Not pull the bar up. Push the floor down. Your hips and chest should rise at the same rate. The bar stays in contact with your body the entire way up. At the top, stand tall and squeeze your glutes. Then reverse the motion with control. Do not drop the weight. Own the descent. Start with a weight that lets you feel the pattern clearly. The ego has no place here. A technically sound deadlift with a light load builds more long-term fat loss capacity than a heavy, sloppy one that keeps you injured and off your training for 3 weeks. Number 4. Sprints. Your body has two primary energy systems for physical effort. One is built for long, sustained output at moderate intensity. The other is built for short, explosive, maximum effort output. Most people only ever train the first one, which means most people are leaving the most powerful fat-burning system they have almost entirely untouched. Sprint intervals produce a hormonal response that moderate cardio simply cannot match. The intensity triggers a significant release of growth hormone and catecholamines, both of which directly target stored body fat. Studies have shown that sprint interval training can produce up to 90% more fat loss than steady-state moderate cardio in a fraction of the time. But sprinting done wrong is how people pull hamstrings. So the warm-up is not optional. Spend 5 to 10 minutes preparing your body. Jog lightly to increase blood flow. Do leg swings, hip circles, and a few dynamic stretches to loosen the posterior chain. Your hamstrings need to be warm and mobile before you ask them to fire at maximum velocity. For beginners, start conservative. 10 to 15 seconds of effort at around 80% of your maximum. Not an all-out sprint on the first session. Walk to full recovery between efforts. That means your heart rate comes back down close to normal before you go again. Do 4 to 6 rounds. That is it. The total work time is under 2 minutes, but the metabolic impact is significant. As your conditioning improves, extend the sprint duration, increase the intensity, and reduce the recovery time. The adaptations come quickly with sprinting. Your body responds fast when the stimulus is demanding enough. Number 5. Burpees. There is a reason burpees have a reputation. They are uncomfortable in a very specific and comprehensive way. Every major muscle group in your body is involved. Your chest, shoulders, and triceps take the load on the way down. Your core stabilizes throughout. Your legs drive you back up. Your cardiovascular system is working at near maximum capacity the entire time. There is no rest position within a burpee. Every phase demands something. That is exactly why they work. The movement itself is straightforward. From standing, drop your hands to the floor, kick your feet back into a push-up position, perform the push-up, jump your feet forward toward your hands, and then explode upward into a jump with your arms overhead, land softly. Repeat. The protocol that maximizes fat loss without destroying your form is simple. 20 seconds of work at full effort, 10 seconds of rest, 8 rounds, 4 minutes total. That structure, known as Tabata, has been studied extensively and consistently produces dramatic improvements in both aerobic and anaerobic capacity, along with significant fat loss. If 4 minutes of Tabata burpees feels manageable, extend the work intervals to 30 or 40 seconds. The challenge scales with your effort. A burpee done at 60% is a mediocre exercise. A burpee done at full effort is one of the most effective fat loss tools you have access to. The other thing worth knowing about burpees is what they do not do. Unlike pure cardio, burpees do not eat into your muscle mass. Because they involve pushing, jumping, and full-body muscular engagement, they preserve the lean tissue you have built while accelerating fat loss. You come out leaner and stronger, not just lighter. Now let me bring this together. 5 movements: kettlebell swings, jump rope, deadlifts, sprints, burpees. None of them require a complex program. None of them require hours. What they require is effort and consistency. The reason these 5 work when everything else has felt slow is that they do not let your body get comfortable. They combine cardiovascular demand with muscular load. They trigger hormonal responses that go to work on stored fat. They create an afterburn that extends the calorie deficit well beyond the workout itself. And they build the kind of functional strength that makes every physical thing you do easier. Belly fat does not respond to comfort. It responds to challenge, not the fake challenge of doing something hard for 1 week and then drifting back to your old habits. The real challenge of showing up consistently with genuine effort and trusting the process long enough to see what it produces. The treadmill is not the answer. Slow and steady is not the answer. Intensity, precision, and the right movements done with real commitment, that is the answer. Kettlebell swings, jump rope, deadlifts, sprints, burpees. Master these, progress on them, make them harder over time, and the results will follow in a way that months of moderate cardio never delivered. This is Dude Fitness. Train smarter, push harder, build the strength that never quits. I will see you in the next one.